Right guys, I'm Golden Ninja Vlogspot and I thought I'd redo my Garden Warfare 1 tier list. Yep, it was a couple of years ago when I made those, and first of all, I don't like the fact I did a separate one for plants and zombies. I should have just put them all together and made one video. Secondly, yeah, I've got a few regrets about that. In fact, it was even reacted to by another YouTuber, which I think today is still the only reaction to any of my videos I've had. Yep, let's go on with it. So here it is in full. Remember that this is just my opinion on how good these characters are. So, here are all the tiers. There's actually, I think there's a few more than in my Garden Warfare 2 tier list. A couple of them are pretty unique ones. First of all, we've got Super Commander, which shouldn't even exist. I think most people can agree this guy's the best character in the game. He's so busted, it's actually unfair to play on plants sometimes. I genuinely believe Super Commander on Garden Warfare 1 is a big reason for why people prefer playing zombies to plants. Well, people seem to prefer plants on Battle for Neighborville, so I've heard. So, move down there, we've got Sickening, got Marine Biologist, Reg Soldier, Toxic P and Agent P. Of course, Toxic P got nerfed on GW2, so Splash Rage is ain't as big, so he ain't quite as good on that game. But I think the other three don't really need much explaining. So now we have the Disgusting tier. So these aren't quite as sickening as the ones in top tier, or like second top tier in this case, just because Super Commando is a tier of his own. But yeah, they're still pretty mad characters. Chemist is going to be a storm in a teacup. When I did my GW2 tier list, I was debating whether he should be in second or third highest tier. But I kept him second, and I'm probably the same here. In fact, he's better on Garden Warfare 1 because he essentially gets 2 reload and 1 ammo upgrades. While on Garden Warfare 2, you pretty much have to choose between, obviously you'll have damage on, and then you'd have either ammo or reload and 2 ammos. On this one, he gets like 2 more ammo. He gets 8 shots and a reload on top of that. Also, he does 40 damage right out of the gate, but when he gets his damage upgrade, it doesn't even change for some reason. Scientist and Mechanic are quite obvious. We've got Sky Trooper. In fact, I'm probably going to move Arthur Trooper there as well, because I've always thought Arthur was a little overrated, but he is still really good. In Sky, as soon as you get the upgrade, you can pretty much wipe out anything. Wipe out! Yeah, we've got 4 consecutive fire characters here, because fire characters are absolutely broken on this game. Basically just by virtue of the fact that you can't heal to full health, so a couple of shots with a few of them will be enough to kill someone. Plus it doesn't get cancelled out by healing or anything like that. So yeah, Quicksilver's there, Fire Chomper's there as well. This is the one time you'll see a Chomper in a tier this high, because Fire Chomper is infamous for being powerful on this game. And then you got Fire Pea and Fire Flower. You'll probably notice the Sunflowers on this ranking, not many of them are that high, because Sunflowers are quite lackluster in this game, to be honest. On GW2 they buffed them quite early on, so they all do more damage, and later on they gave them all extra health, so they're a lot better in that game. But obviously Fire Flower's still a fire character. And of course Fusion characters as well. She's pretty much the same on GW2, except she gets a little more ammo there, but charge shots take out multiple shots, while on this game they don't take 1. So she's arguably better in this game. Also, the meta game in general was a bit more favourable to Cacti, because there's way more cam spots on this compared to GW2. And now we have the Great tier. Quite a lot of characters in this one. Tank Command's going to take some explaining, because I know on GW2 they eventually patched him, so he's stronger without his reloads, but weaker with both his reloads sort of thing. Because on this game, without his reload upgrades, he absolutely sucks.
Everybody still thinks that I absolutely suck!
But obviously that means when you got all the upgrades on, which is generally what I take into account, then Tank's stronger on this than on GW2. Also, I feel Tank just has much more splash and is much better at range than he is on the second game. Supremo as well. Yeah, not putting him top tier this time, what a surprise. But still very manageable. Although I'll definitely say he's on the lower band of soldiers on this game. I mean, there's only 2 in tiers ranked below this one. The 3 elemental engineers here. Sanitation Expert, I always thought was better on GW2 because they did buff him there. He's still very competent on this game. I think they just buffed his splash a little bit and improved his projectile. 3 all-stars here. I've always maintained that Rugby's underrated. Goalie and Rake as well, can't really go wrong with them. Pele was the first scientist I got on with and he's still good. While Plasma had the best design on this, they actually did buff him slightly on GW2. I say slightly, I think it's quite game-changing. They gave him quite a bit of splash with his charge shot, which he just doesn't have on this game. Love I still think is a slight downgrade of Agent, but still quite good. Commando as well. Another character that has dropped quite a bit from my last one, but still a worthy place, I reckon. And then we've got Mystic and Shadow. Yeah, I finally ranked Mystic, and I actually ranked her in a decent place, I reckon. Some people think she's the best Sunflower on both games. I still disagree with that, but it is what it is. And Shadow as well, basically just a straight upgrade to Reg. So now we're going the good tier. Still good, but not like amazing or anything. Yes, Dr. Toxic's in here. My opinion of him has always been that he's still good, just basically every other scientist is better. Well, except one of them, but we'll get to him soon. Dr. Chester as well seems to be favoured by some, hated by others. He is in essence a zoologist, but slightly less range, awkward hit register, but although he does have extra ammo, which is nice. Base All-Star you'd think should be high because he has the highest DPS out of all the All-Stars, but he's pretty much terrible at anything that's not up close, and he overheats really fast, even if the upgrade does fix that. The lowest soldiers are 2 sniper ones, but they are still good for sure. Centurion I do think is quite underrated. I've actually been going on a sort of a tear with him lately, and I don't think I've even got all the upgrades for him. He's basically comparable with Fire Cactus, who I put in great. Actually, maybe I should move him up if I've got Fire Cactus in there, actually. Yep, a few chompers here. These first two definitely need a health upgrade to help them out because the way the chompers work on this game. And Pow's possibly the one chomper that's actually good with groups. Berry and Reg P are fine, I just think some of the variants are better. Same for Sunflower. Citrus Cactus I was also a bit unsure on because while she does a splash and all that, and is probably the best cactus at close range, she is not that good at sniping and her damage is quite low compared to some of the rest. So I think good's fair enough for her. Jade's kind of in the similar boat actually. I know that some people think she is one of the best cacti. I don't really agree with that. I mean, I've only got 3 of them ranked higher than her on this, because I did leave some of them in unranked. Now we're going decent. These first are going to be a bit of a debate, but I'll put them in because of accuracy problems. Camera Ranger's recoil is terrible on this. Apparently they put that in because it's too effective against cacti or something. But then they took it out as GW2 just because pirates could counter cacti anyway, but surely by taking off his recoil, he counters cacti good there. And Centurion pretty much doesn't have any recoil at all, so that basically makes him better in this game. As for Ashenwort, it's because his bloom is absolutely terrible. Like, if you've already fired 5 shots off there, good luck trying to hit anyone. Plus, since he's still a scientist, he still has the awkward reticle, which doesn't help matters at all. Power Flowers are... yeah, let's not talk about how high I put him in the other tier list. I've never really found a chain line to be that useful, but I suppose it just helps. But overall, she's basically just a downgrade to Reg, who's a downgrade to Shadow on her own. An Alien Flower kind of hurts to rank this low. In fact, I'm actually considering her a tier lower. I mean, she got buffed in GW2 anyway, because she's got way more ammo and her clouds do more damage. But I was also thinking about some of the new zombies in that game are quite good matchups for Alien Flower. Like, imps and they're bunny hopping around, they hit the ground, the Swarmists can get them. I'm probably going to have to drop her on. Sorry, you're right by Metal Petal. Chester Chomper, his digestion does help him out, but like, this guy's absolutely digestion reliant, like even more so than Chompula in a way. It does help that he's automatically got the upgrade so he can digest quite fast, but I would prefer the healing payoff over the faster digestion, so that's why I put him below Chompula. And Power Cactus I've never been sure about. I've seen quite a lot of people lately say that she's one of the better cacti. She actually does more damage than the regular one, even though she's an electric variant. She just has drop off, so that kind of loses her a few points. And at least fire damage is no drop off, so that puts Fire Cactus higher up. And now we got the mares, the average or below ones. Landscape has always just been there for me. I know some people think it's absolutely awful. I wouldn't say it's that bad. I think it's definitely one of the better engineers for damage. Feels awkward to use at ranges. There's not really much this guy can do that another engineer can't do better. Wrestling Star, basically the same story with baseball. He is actually really good up close, but other all-stars can do the same thing. And his projectile speed is really slow, so he's basically useless at anything that isn't close range. And of course I've always thought he was worse than Rugby Star. The Archaeologist, downgraded Paleontologist, we've been through this before. Bandit I actually hadn't unranked for a while because I was actually waiting to get her ammo upgrade, but even with that she still feels really underwhelmed. She can barely kill an all-star with a single clip unless you're an aimbot. Her bloom's bad as well. The only reason why I didn't put her lower is because if you can land the first, say 10 shots, pretty much the only ones you can realistically hit with that bloom, then you can kill pretty quickly, but yeah. And now we're going Wimpy. And Hockey Star, it pains me to put him in here just because of how much I like him on the second game and how good he is on the second game. But he overheats so fast, and for some reason, if you keep holding the button, the second time around he overheats in about half a second. Reg Engine, I could put him a little higher. I think I'm going to keep him Wimpy actually. I've said before that I think Sanitation is basically Dark's upgrade. It's possibly more debatable in this case given that Sanitation has 15 splash in this game and Reg does 20, but pretty much every variant is an upgrade over Reg. I'd say even Plumber is, and I put him in on rank. Ice Cactus freezes out the pace on erosion. Pretty much by the time you've frozen someone you have to reload. And Toxic Chomper is literally just a downgrade of Fire. The Toxic Scorer doesn't make up for that at all. Not to mention Fire is already like one of the most busted plants in this game. Toxic? Hell no. Level 10 Chomper, are you serious? Although I suppose it's better than this one, which I've got in the tier, shouldn't even exist. Yep, I've got 2 shouldn't even exist tier. Super Commando's in there because of how good he is. And Chomp Thing's in there because of how useless he is. I'd say easily the worst character in the history of Garden Warfare. Like, probably even worse than Party Brains, like before he got buffed in the second game. Because his quick regeneration barely comes into effect. Damage is pitiful, you can't mash like you can on the second game. I think he actually does get a damage upgrade as part of one of his other upgrades for some reason, but that doesn't really save him. So yeah, he's in the bottom tier. So yeah, that's my tier list. Feel free to let me know in the comments whether you agree or disagree. Subscribe if you're new, leave a like on this video. I'm Golden Ninja Vlogspot. Thanks for watching. Don't check out the older ones.